All right, hello everyone. It's Jordan Walsh here, the product manager for Whispir, and today I'm going to take you through a few of the new features that we've got available in the Whispir platform in Whispir 6, primarily focusing on the Rich Message Studio. So what I'm going to do is just log into the Whispir platform. Great. Okay, so this is our standard view of Whispir. We can see all of the messages that I've sent in this workspace, this RMS webinar workspace. So a lot of you who have used Whispir before would be familiar with the existing new message interface and how that works, how you can send multi-channel communications from there. So we can access that by simply going into the new message link from the mega menu here, or new message on the left-hand side. Now, this has been a familiar interface to Whispir users for a long time, the ability to kind of enter in some email content or mobile numbers into the field at the top. Demos. Select one of the message templates from the listing below, and then compose it underneath, viewing the subject and the content of the email. Now, these have been really useful, but the problem with these is that they've been difficult to edit in the past. You've got some basic capabilities to do things like, make text bold or change colors or backgrounds. But if you wanted to get more sort of complex in this interface, it was very difficult. You would have to go into a code view and manage some of the code, or contact Whispir, and we would do some of this stuff for you. So with the Rich Message Studio product, what we've been aiming to do is to take some of this complexity and move it into a more easy-to-use, streamlined interface for you to create these rich messages, whether they be on email or on web. So to access the Rich Message interface, you simply go over to your workspace at the top, you pick your workspace, and you'll have the new Rich Message Studio options in the middle of the screen. You can click on Rich Message Studio to open it up, and you'll have access to some of the information inside. So within here, I can perform a few different functions. I can now search through my existing templates to find one that I'm looking for. So for example, this council updated rates notification template. I can view my categories of templates on the left-hand side. For example, I might have some retail templates or some operational templates, or I can click all to show them all. I can create a new template from the middle of the screen, or I can have a look at some of my existing templates that I've created here. So I've got 3 templates in this view, and the same one that we were just viewing before, the updated rates notification, is listed in front of us here. So I've got the option to preview or edit this template by hovering over it. So what I'm going to do first is just preview this template to review what it looks like on both an email from a rich email interface, or on the mobile phone. That'll look something along those lines there. What I can do is, from here, I can edit this template on the left-hand side of the screen by clicking the Edit button. So from here, what it does is it shows me the rich template interface. I can easily see the message that we've got in front of us here with all of the content that we had below. And the screen, I can see various components that I can add. So if we hover over any of these parts of this message, we can see that the message has now been broken into different components. The one at the top is simply a logo component. The one below it has some content. And the one below that has a map that we can start to do some things with. So by breaking the message down into a few different components, it makes it very easy for us to edit the different sections. For this example, if I wanted to change the logo, I could click on the logo in the middle of the screen here, and on the right-hand side, I could see some properties about that logo. So for example, this is a Metro City Council image, and I could click on a replace link in order to either browse to a file in my library, or I could upload a new file to the Whispir platform. So I might just browse, and I can see a few different options to choose, and we might, for example, change this to a Metro City Utilities logo by selecting that one there. Instantaneously, the logo has been updated, and I can easily see and use that one from now. However, what I'll do is I'll change that one back to the Metro City Council one. I may want to make this image bigger as well, so perhaps increasing the width from 50% to say 70% to make a nice big logo, or if I think it's a bit big, I can take it down to 30% instead. So I can easily modify the attributes on the right-hand side to make changes to the template in real time. To change some of the content, for example, I can simply click on the content block in the middle here, which is a paragraph block, and I can edit the content in real time on the right hand side. So perhaps this rate actually comes in on the 1st of January, not the 6th. So I can make the changes here, and we can see in the middle of the screen that the change has been updated, and also that we have an increase of up to, say, 4% instead. Okay, so that content editing becomes a lot easier in real time using the paragraph component. We've also got this map component in the middle, which is giving us a bit more information about where the rates perhaps would be updated. This is a sample, so what I've done with this component here is I've actually used the existing map component, which is available to users to simply drag into their message. But I've actually changed it a little bit more to be usable on a email interface. So this one here is actually available on emails, whereas this other one is a dynamic map that's available on web. So I've taken this default component and I've made some modifications to make it a little bit easier to use on web. I'll go into that a little bit more. So we'll just remove that component from the message. With this component, we can make a few different changes to our message. We can change the address, which is the center point of the map, 360 Collins Street. I could change the zoom level if I wanted to zoom out a little bit more, maybe make it a zoom level of 12 or 13, perhaps 14. That's a bit appropriate. And I've actually built in some boundaries so that we can see the boundaries of where the rates notification will take place. For example, this bottom corner, I might want to take this back out to Spencer Street. So instead of being the corner of Russell and Flinders, it's the corner of Spencer and Flinders Street, Melbourne, something along those lines. Oh, that's changed. I've changed the wrong one. Boundary bottom left, the corner of Flinders and Spencer. So now that I'm happy with that component, and we've got a footer down the bottom here as well. This footer is using the image and text component with the image on the left-hand side. So all I've done is I've dragged that image component into the message, and I've simply edited that and selected an image here and entered some paragraph text here. Okay, so if we remove that component, in the middle we can edit that one and we can see, yes, we've got our Whispir logo down the bottom, 30% width, and some paragraph text to match. So this has made it very easy for us to see all of the different components of our email message. Very easy to edit and update all of this content. So now we can go and save that as a template to use within our message. Those of you that are familiar with the existing web interface will know that we've got a features tab down the bottom. The features have been moved as to the next step of this workflow. So you can click features at the top or use the handy previous and next links on the right hand side. We've now organized the features into different tabs to make it a lot easier for you to see what you can and can't do with these different messages. For example, all of the same information is available here as in the existing features tab. It's just organized to make it a bit clearer for you to see. So we could add a mobile message alert by ticking that box on, or perhaps enable push notifications for those of you that are using those. We can personalize or brand our communications using the message alias manager. So I can brand the communications to say that SMSs and emails are going to come from the Whispir alias, or perhaps pick a different alias if I configure that. Okay. So once we've gone through and picked all of the different features that we want to add to our message, we can review it by clicking the Review tab. So now we can see that that's what it's going to look like in an email, and that's what it's going to look like on the mobile phone. My mobile to see what it would look like in landscape view. Right, that's what the email is going to look like on a mobile phone in landscape. And once I'm happy, I can save that as my updated rates notification template by clicking save, and we're done. So that's a very easy way for you to manage your templates. If we wanted to send this message out to a list of recipients, we have the option of using our existing new message interface, or alternatively, we have our new rich message capability as part of the Rich Message Studio. You can use either of these options to send out the message. Okay. In this instance, I'm going to demonstrate a sending through the new rich message link. So this looks very similar, except the options have changed from edit and preview to now use and preview. So I can click use at the top of this one here to say I'm going to use this template. Again, we come back into our screen here where I can review the information in the template prior to sending. I could, at this point, add some more components or make some final changes to the message prior to sending that out. Once I'm happy, I can come across and I can easily change some features or review the message one last time prior to sending. Once I click on the Send tab, instead of allowing me to save the message like the previous one did, this now gives me access to my address book as we're used to in the existing new message interface, or I can simply type in a recipient to the message. For example, whisperdemos@gmail.com. We've got our message subject. We can pick our labels and categories as well. So existing message labels or existing message categories, you can pick those from these two lists here. Once we're happy, we can click send on that message, and that's gone out the same as existing. You can see quite quickly that modifications to templates are now a lot easier for you. Okay, so that's an example of how you can use email using the rich message interface. From a rich message perspective, what we're talking about here is now using SMS messages to deliver a much richer experience to your end user. So rather than an email which perhaps you can't interact with, for example, before when we were dealing with the map interface, we needed something a little bit more dynamic there. What we were showing was a static geofence. In this instance, we might want to do something like route the user to a place, or perhaps for a retail offer, or some rich content there. So this second example that I've got is a retail offer that we could potentially provide via an SMS message and then show that, drive them to a link that they can click on. So I'll show you how to do that. So again, we can go to our new rich message template and we can see what the template looks like. Rich Message Studio, and edit that template. So this template here at the top, it uses, instead of using email, it's using the other two components that are available as part of the rich message. We've got a mobile message, which is going to be the message that is sent out via SMS, and we've got our web component, which is going to be the web page that is dynamically presented to the recipient when they click on the SMS message. So with our mobile content, when we select this channel, we can, the same as before, easily modify our content on the right-hand side of this page. Seafood paella on special now, get 25% off here. And with our add web link component, that will dynamically transform into a URL for each recipient to click on when they receive that message. So I'm happy with that mobile message as it stands. I could make changes quite easily here, but I'm happy with that. So we'll go to our web tab, and we can see here, similar to the previous one, we've got our componentized message here. We can see that we've got our logo at the top, some content underneath it. Check out our seafood paella on special now. And underneath that, we've got a YouTube video. This YouTube video is a direct web link from YouTube. So all I've done there, I'll start that one from the start, so I'll just copy that URL. If I remove this component, what I can do is come down to the video component here, drag that into the message. Once I've dragged that in, I can edit and I can add that URL that I added before. Now that URL is directly taken from the YouTube web URL, so I can just copy that and paste it directly into here, and Whispir will deliver that message for you. Underneath, I've got scan the barcode below, so all I've done here is simply taken in a body text component and just made the font bold, Arial 18, something along those lines. Okay, So I can save that one as well. Underneath we've got a barcode, and that barcode is simply an image that I've included. It's just an image that's in there. We've got a button component below that. Now, a button component is actually one that I've customized. This one here allows you to add responses to your messages. Button text of want more of these. Background color and a text color. And then once the user clicks on that button, it'll say to them, thanks for your response, and it will send back to Whispir, subscribe to offers. So using this response button component, which is a customized component, you can add responses into your message. Customized components are things that you can do yourself. You can easily save any of these components as a custom component, or as we'll get into a bit later, I can show you how to do that, or you can contact Whispir, and Whispir will organize to get some customized components for you in your environment. Below that, we've got our existing footer from there. So we've got our mobile content that we're happy, and we've got our web content that we're happy with. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll save that as a template. Metro City Supermarket retail offer. It's got a category of retail, and I'll save that below. So now what I'll do is I'll actually send that message out using our new rich message button. I'm going to use the retail offer, and I'm going to just jump straight to the send tab and type in my mobile number. Send that message out from there. Okay. So similar to what we're used to, those messages are delivered using the Whispir platform, and we can come over, and from our messages perspective, we can see that this Metro City Supermarket retail offer has been sent out from the Whispir platform, and we've got our existing status information from there. Okay. The last example that I wanted to show you today was another rich message, but this one here was using the Metro City bill notification. So if we click on edit on this template, we can see that again this is using the mobile tab. Hi Jordan, your Metro City bill is due on the 31st of December, and the web tab. Okay. So on the web tab again, we've got our logo at the top, we've got some content below it using our paragraph or our body paragraph component, which is just your account number, the bill number, and the due date of the information. Below that, we've got another body paragraph, which is just a simple bit of text saying your bill is available from the link below. But the link below is actually what we're calling a resource component. So a resource allows you to put a file as part of your template, a PDF or a document here. Resource library, similar to uploading an image like we did before, where you could simply click upload and choose a file from your local machine, or you could drag and drop directly into this environment here. You give that a display name, and once you're done, that there would be delivered out to the user's mobile phone for them to click on that to download that piece of content. So whereas before Whispir did not support message attachments via templates, this here provides you the ability to have a similar concept where you can attach a resource to a template and have users download that resource by clicking on the link. We've also got some other content in here. This one here has also got a URL component inside the paragraph. So what I've simply done is just highlighted this little bit of text, and I've clicked this link button at the top here. All that link button does is it just allows you to put in a URL for that particular piece of content. So I can pay that bill using that link. Okay, and I've put some bold and some italic text down the bottom there. And then again, we've got our footer down the bottom. So you can easily drag and drop any of these other into here and write a map component. In this example would work as well because we're in our web environment. I could easily drag our map component in there, and we could start to see, all right, probably not relevant for a utilities example with a bill, but you can see easily with a dynamic map component that you could include that into part of the message. We don't need that in this instance, so we'll take it back out. And our video component as we had from the previous one. Okay, so once we're happy with our message, like we are before, we can save that off as a template. Within these templates, you can actually go back to previous versions. In this example, we've got 3 different versions. In the supermarket one, we have 5, and the updated grades, we've got 7 different versions. How I get there is I can click Preview, say on the retail offer one, and we can see what it looks like now from in here. So if you recall, I changed this one to want more of these offers. We can see that that button hasn't actually come out that well. So I might revert that back. So what I can do is I can, on the left-hand side, choose a previous version of this template. So I'm at version 5 currently, so I can click on 4 and go back to version 4 of this template. If we click on that one there, we can now see that that's back to the want more with a single question mark. Yep, I'm happy with that. So what I can do is I can click edit on that template, and now I'm back to the previous version of the template. I want to save this template because that previous change I made wasn't appropriate, so I can click save. Now what will happen is I've got a new version of that template from there. We're up to version 6 now, and it's using the same version as version 4. So the versioning of templates provides you a much richer way that you can see a history of your templates, so you can go back through and find modifications that you've made and make updates to those modifications. Okay, so that's the main view of the Whispir Rich Message Studio that you can use in your environment today. What I might do is just run through a few questions from that we've been asked. So, when is it available? It is available in your account today. Okay, so you can log in to your existing Whispir account. You can browse to the Rich Message Studio component in any workspace, or mega menu item in any workspace, and you can access this rich message environment. Okay. How much does it cost? It is, until February 1st, it is freely available. So all rich messages are free sending from Whispir platform until 1st of February 2015. Okay. After that, you'll need to speak with your Whispir account representatives in order to understand the costs associated with it from there. Okay. So, but up until February 1st, please go in here, send out rich messages. The actual rich component, the web component, won't cost you any extra. Does it come with any template? We make templates available to us. Out of the box, it won't have any templates for you. So you will have to click on this new template icon and start to build out your the interface that's been provided to you. If you require, you can contact your Whispir account representative and we can work with you to build out some of those customized components or to migrate some of your templates into this environment. But as you can see, it's relatively straightforward to start doing some dragging and dropping with some of this information. So you should be able to have a bit of fun with it and come up with your existing templates within this environment. Can I share templates? So you can map these templates across to different workspaces. If you browse to the existing templates menu, you'll see that these templates here, you can't really see it in this view, but they have actually got a yellow background behind them. Okay, these ones with the yellow background are ones that have been created in the Rich Message Studio. Any that don't have the yellow background will be your existing templates from there. So you can actually select these rich message templates and map them using the map space button across to different workspaces. So those templates will then get mapped to those different workspaces and you can use them and send them from there. Unfortunately, if you've customized any of the components, the customized versions of those components won't come across to the new workspace. So you can just save the edited version as a new component. I might get into that in a more advanced webinar if we get some feedback from this where people want to get more into customizing components and saving those off. But you can map them and you can use them freely in other workspaces. It's just the customized components won't come across from there. And is there training available? Do you providing documentation. So there is documentation under the help menu. So if you click help and browse your way through to Rich Message Studio, you'll find some high-level help available there. If you wanted further training for us to come in, you could contact your Whispir account representative and we could organize some training to take place there. We would come in and show you how to do it. More likely it would be that you would rather have some components created for you and we could show you how we could build the components for you and then train you on those specific components as to how we've created them, whether it be customized versions of maps or different response options and things like that. Okay. I think, okay, so from one other question, as a developer, how heavily can I customize these components? I think we will get into a more advanced session, but I will just quickly show you for a component perspective. If we take this this map component with a geofence, you can create as many of these properties as you like, and then inside the code, you've got a little code view on the right-hand side here. You can actually get right into the HTML and the properties of that HTML. So you can specify any of these content parameters. So boundary, bottom left, zoom, all of these things within the code. For example, we've got the address component here. You can also include custom JavaScript inside your external links to JavaScript in there. So you have full control over the components themselves, the HTML that's rendered, all of the styles and all of the properties directly in the code view on the right-hand side. So it's completely in your hands, but as I've said, you can contact us and we can custom build some of these components for you. Okay. The following gotchas. So by default, you're in the email view. Be careful to not include things, as I was talking about before, these dynamic maps or YouTube videos. Whispir will let you drag them into an email. However, if you were to send these two components out, neither of them would work, as you don't have access to JavaScript and you don't have access to iframes in an email. So just be careful to make sure that you only use components that are supported within the channel that you're sending them from. I think as we release more versions of the Rich Message Studio, we'll have some components that are channel specific. So we'll have only the things that you can include in an email versus only the things you can include in a web page. Okay, so dynamic maps, videos, JavaScript are unavailable in the email. Coming soon, so on the roadmap for this, as I've said, channel-specific components, being able to map and share components, being able to search components. At the moment, components are workspace-specific, so I've got these three in my workspace, but if I was to go into another workspace, these three would not be available there. Okay, so I'd have to customize them in that environment. So I think mapping and sharing and searching these components. Some of the traditional message features that you're used to, for example, custom lists, those little green background lists to choose from inside your message, we'll be including those as part of here. And things like message attributes will also be available. We'll also be moving into a event integration from there as well to be able to choose different labels and populate these with events. So I think I'll leave it there. That's the high-level overview of the Whispir Rich Message Studio. If you've got any questions, please feel free to email them through to either your contact at Whispir, your account representative, or support@whispir.com, and we'll be glad to help you out from there. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for joining. Talk to you soon.